Top of the night, people. So when you Google who owns the most farmland, who owns most of the farmland, it says Bill Gates now owns the most farmland of anyone in the United States, according to a recent report from the Land Report. The outlet reported this week that Gates, 65 years old, owns 268,984 acres of land combined across the 19 states, right? Then I Googled what race has the most land. And the response was white Americans, by comparison, own more than 98% of U.S. land, amounting to 856 million acres, with a total worth of over $1 trillion. CNN founder Ted Turner alone owns over 2 million acres of land, according to Forbes magazine. Ted Turner's another billionaire. 42 million African Americans own only 0.33% of America's land. Let me repeat this. 42 million African Americans own only 0.33% of America's land. Abraham Lincoln has a famous quote, and it says, "A nation may be said to consist of its territory, its people, and its laws. The territory is the only part which is of certain durability. Laws change, people die, the land remains." Right? My theory and my philosophy and my concept of real wealth and power is owning farms, owning land mass, owning buildings, and owning water. Whoever controls the water supply and the food supply wins the war. All of the jury, cars, elite rapper meetings, and dinners are pacified illusions. They have money but no power, right? I say this to say what? You know, people see these rappers, they show their mansions, they show all the land mass. They show the land mass of their mansions, they show all the grass, and we see all the cars, we see the icy diamonds, we see the Audemars, yeah, we see the private jets, we see all this. You know, a lot of them even own businesses, you know, like, you know, Rick Ross owned Wingstops and stuff like that, right? But one thing I learned about this, right? Say I own 50 Dunkin' Donuts, right? If my Dunkin' Donuts is inside rental spaces, that's in the bottom of people buildings, meaning like you will have a big building where people live at, and then the lower part of the buildings, it'd be spaces for rent. So if none of my Dunkin' Donuts is built from the ground up in their own independent, individual building, even though I own Dunkin' Donuts stores, I really don't own Dunkin' Donuts stores. What it really is I own the leasings to these Dunkin' Donuts stores. Correct me if I'm wrong. I own the leasings to these, and I'm able to put Dunkin' Donuts in certain places, but I don't own the actual building. Probably a Jewish man or some mystery millionaire, billionaire man owns this building, and I'm renting out a space. That's it. That's a section of his building at the bottom, and I put a Dunkin' Donuts there. So am I truly a Dunkin' Donut owner if I don't own the building? If my Dunkin' Donuts still have to pay rent to a landlord? I want feedback on that. Those on YouTube and Instagram who see this, let me know. But I say this, right? Never get ownership mixed up with ownership. Black people only own 42 million black people only combined, only own 0.33% of the land in America. Let this dirty dirt bike nigga go by. Yeah, I hate dirty dirt bike niggas. They just make a lot of noise all day, all night, stop up traffic and shit like that. But yeah, so you know, we see these Audemars is $50,000 watches, and we see these designer clothes, and I like clothes, you know, like I like Nautica, and I like little clothes, Ralph Lauren and shit. But you know, you see dudes with these $2,000 Balenciaga sneakers and everything, right? America, out of all the countries in the world, America's the largest consumer. Then within America, amongst ethnicities, the black people are the largest consumers, right? We buy a lot of clothes, watches, materialistic shit. We like to go out and eat. We like whips. You know, we like the ball, right? They always say the man in the suit works for the man that wear the pajamas. They always say the people with master degrees and PhDs work for dudes with no degrees, right? They always say dudes with master degrees and PhDs work for dudes with no degrees. They always say the man in the suit answers to the man in the pajamas or the man in the robe, right? We getting this picture messed up, people. We getting this picture fucked up because we caught up in the glitter and we not caught up in the gold. And when I mean we, I don't mean all of us, but we see a lot of people showing us glitter. Black people like shiny things. Like my skin is shiny. I like shiny skin. Black people like shiny things. And we get tricked a lot, right? And we consume and we consume. We spend, we spend, we spend. So we bust our ass, we break our back. All these rappers, they sell all this music. These basketball players, they run up and down. They run up and down all these courts and play all these games and practice hard to really do not be true, sincere owners of anything. Because if my music go 50 times platinum and I'm a multi-millionaire, but all the money I make, I buy Audemars, I buy designer clothes, which is mostly European, some is Japanese, some is other ethnicities, but I buy all these designer clothes with all the money I make off my music, right? So all the poor black people buy my music because they believe in Iron Sheik's craft. Then I take the money and I give it to the Europeans for their watches, their clothes, their sneakers, their designer cars, BMWs, Germany, Mercedes-Benz, whatever. I buy all these cars, planes or whatever, right? But I don't own no land. I don't own no land. You got people that own airspace. So that means even if I do want a building built from ground up, I can't go past a certain amount of airspace or whatever building's next to it. It can't go above that and different shit like that. You have airspace. You have people that pay for airspace. You have people that pay solar tax, right? People that pay for, you know, these grids and using sunlight and different shit like that, solar tax. You have people that pay water tax. So you charging us for natural resources, right? The earth don't belong to nobody. The planet don't belong to nobody. The planet is for all of us. But you have people who ever feel they the strongest, they the richest, they got the most guns, goon shooters, and they're owning land and they're renting land out. They're renting things out to people, right? We know the natives of America is blacks and Indians. They're the natives. They've been here when Europe didn't even know about navigating. We already know they came here, they raped, they slaughtered, they stole, they lied, they took. We know that. But now in the process of them building this, remember, they created the money. They created the dollar paper, the currency system. During slavery, there wasn't no paper. There wasn't no greenbacks, right? So they created the money system. They created a game that people was playing and expect to win. You might make it to certain levels, but you're never going to win the game because they print up the money. They make the laws. And then once you learn the laws and the loopholes and how these people is living off their 401k or their 403b, or they taking the money out from their 403b or 401k and they buying a car with that. So that way they don't got to pay no interest. They only paying their self back. They not getting the money from the bank where they got to owe the bank money and boom, 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 boom. They taking the money out they 403B and they 401k, buying a car and then paying themselves back. You got people that's buying houses with their 401ks and their 403Bs. So when you study financial literacy, there's different loopholes that work for these people, and they've been cheating the whole time. The game is rigged with booby traps and all that. And then black people who learn these little booby traps and tricks and trades, they don't teach it to the rest because they don't really want nobody else to shine or to flourish. You know, they want to be the ones coming through, and you know they're in the Mozzie and they getting glorified by a bunch of poor black people, and they want people to look up and follow them where they could use you and manipulate you. Because with a certain amount of money and fame comes power, and people like the power. They get surged by the power because now they can manipulate others who's in awe of their power. But now I just read it to you, and y'all can Google it yourself. Black people really don't have no power because they don't own none of the land. They don't own the water and they don't own the air. I don't care if you got 7 zillion cars. Nobody owns the BMW factory. So even though you own a BMW car, you really don't own a BMW car because you don't, I'm going to tell you this real quick for the clock run out. When we're born, there's 2 birth certificates, there's 2 social security cards, right? It's the one they give us, and it's the real one, what they call straw man rights, right? The same thing applies to a car. When I get a car, they give me the deeds to the car. But the BMW company who actually made that car in the warehouse, they have the true deed to that car, the code number, to the metal and the engine and everything, the real serial number. The BMW company still owns that car, even though I bought fully paid for the BMW and they gave me my paperwork, a deed or whatever it's called, or whatever, my ownership of the car. The BMW company really still owns this car. You know, there's a lot of funny shit going on, and you know, I don't know what's up with people. People think black people is winning and they think the world changed. And they saying, oh, it's no excuse. We up now. You know, it's equal opportunity. People coming here from other countries and they being successful. Nobody's successful in America if they don't own the land. If you don't, like Abraham Lincoln said, the land has durability. Laws change, ethnicities change, people change, all that shit change. They come and go. The land has the durability. So those who own the land and owns the water and owns the air has the power. And you could say weapons. Those who got all the weapons of mass destruction, the guns and all that, because we know America builds all these missiles in all these countries that's dealing in imperialism, colonization, and communism and all that. They building all these weapons so they can continue to conquer and hostile takeovers and stuff like that. We behind enemy lines. We behind enemy lines, and it's dark, and it's going to get darker. You know what I'm saying? They saying the vaccinated people is spreading COVID crazy, and they getting sick all the time. It's going to be real dark. So people probably saying who's watching this blog, Ian, what's the answer? What's the solution? We'll never be liberated fully until we own land. These Indians, they put on little reservations. This is their country. How you put them in little reservations? A lot of the slaves who inherited land from their slave masters or from their family who were sharecroppers, they don't even own the land no more. And if they do, it's a little percentage of land. You got people in Africa that don't even own the gold that's grown in their own land. African presidents and all that. They dig the gold up, sell it to Britain for the price Britain or Europe wanted to be sold for, and then they sell it back to Africa for double, triple. So you selling me the gold that I dug up out my land to sell to y'all, y'all selling it back to me triple. Shit is demonic, people. Wake up. I'm Oxygen.